Hi guys, and welcome to this tutorial about the structure and content of your website. Just a quick info up front so you know what to expect. This is not another website tutorial focusing on tools like WordPress, Wix, etc. It's not about how to make your website look beautiful, and also not about how to code your website, so not a technical part of it either. What it is about is the, in my opinion, often way too neglected part, but the real basis for a great website. It's about which content you should put on your site, how to structure it, and make sure that it gives your target audience the actual information they are looking for. And that already brings me to the first of a few general but very important points. Your website is not about you. It is not to show the world how awesome you are, but to show your potential client how much value you can add to his life or his business. So when you think about creating a new website, please always start by thinking about your target group first. Focus on your potential client in every second of creating the website concept. If you don't know who your ideal client is, then I would recommend you to start with a target group analysis. I can't cover all the points now in this tutorial as it's such a big topic, but here are some things you should definitely know about your ideal client when creating a new website. Typically, when talking about target groups, everyone says you should know their gender and age, their profession, their industry, etc. But honestly, that doesn't help you much if you don't know what to do with it. What remarketeers are trying to figure out of all of this information is what kind of characteristics your target group has and how we need to talk to them in order to speak their language and attract them to our client's business. Knowing the kind of personality type your ideal client has will give you the biggest advantage when setting up your communication channels, and in this case, your website. Think about this. Is your ideal client someone who's just out for the fun, very enthusiastic, creative, and extrovert? Or is your ideal client very caring, supportive, value-driven, and more of an introvert? Is he or she very dominant, delegating many tasks, making all the decisions, and super goal-oriented? Or is your ideal client more the kind of person who knows every technical detail and wants to understand and do everything himself? Depending on what kind of personality type your ideal client is, your communication needs to look completely different to really speak to them. The pictures you use, the colors you choose, what you write, how you write, and how much you write. All of this influences if you'll manage to attract your ideal client to your business or you won't. If you already have a couple of clients that match your idea of an ideal client, you can simply start by analyzing what they have in common. If you're just starting out and don't have any clients yet to analyze, start by clearly defining who your ideal client would be. The service or product you offer should solve someone's problems. If it doesn't, reconsider your business model. Whose problems are you solving? In most cases, they'll be your target group. Then try to find out more about them. Think about which blogs they might read, which influencers they follow, which Facebook groups they are in, etc. Then follow them closely and listen actively. It takes a lot of time and patience, but eventually you'll understand your target group better and better. Once you've clearly defined who your ideal client and therefore your ideal website visitor would be, think about the goal of your website. What's the one thing you want your ideal clients to do after visiting your website? Should they sign up with the email address to receive further information? Should they call you? Should they send you a message? Should they immediately buy something? What's the one goal you want them to do? Now that you have the goal of your website clearly defined, you need to come up with a plan on how to guide your ideal client step by step to this goal. Don't see every page of your website as a standalone site, but as part of something bigger. Ideally, all your pages together build a storyline. You catch your prospect at a certain point, like for example your homepage, and then guide them step by step towards your goal, for example, to fill out your contact form. But they won't jump from your homepage directly to contacting you. They'll first need way more information about you, about your services, your references, etc. Therefore, every page should have a catchy headline and at the end of the page, one clear call to action that tells your visitor what to do next. I'll talk about that further in a second. Your website itself is also just one part of a bigger picture, your sales funnel. Think about how your target group gets to your website, which information they already have from you, for example through Google ad or social media, and which steps will follow after sending the contact request through your website until they become your new clients. This helps you to provide exactly the information that your visitors are looking for. Give your visitors as much information as needed in order to gain their serious interest and make them very likely to buy, but also leave some minor points open in order to make sure they'll actually contact you personally to get all the information they want. That's for the general part, the things I'd like you to keep in mind when creating your new website. So now, how do you provide your visitors exactly the information they are looking for and guide them step by step towards your goal? To come up with this content, I want you to completely forget for a moment that we're actually working on your website here. Think of it more like having a real conversation with your ideal client and then only split it into different pages afterwards. Again, the more you know about your ideal client, the easier this task gets. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were a freelance video producer and your ideal client would be the organizer of a conference in London who is searching for someone to film the presentations delivered on stage. He might search in Google for something like Video Producer London and hopefully find you there. Now imagine how a conversation would go. Hey, I'm searching for a video producer in London. Am I talking to the right person? Absolutely. I'm a freelance video producer based in West End, specialized on business events like conferences, seminars, etc. Is that what you're looking for? Oh great, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm organizing a one-day conference next month with around 200 people and would like someone to capture this event on video. Would that be something you could do? Yeah, sure, no problem at all. I have a lot of experience with events like this. Do you want to have the whole day on video or just specific parts? Especially the presentations and maybe a few snippets of the audience and the location to get a little bit of an atmosphere of what's happening there. Okay, no worries. What's your idea behind this? Do you want to, in the end, have a short promotional video of your event? Or do you want to have the presentations available online in full length after your event? My initial idea was to only record the presentations, but now that you're mentioning it, a short promotional video would be great too. How much would it cost, and do you have some examples of past projects so I can get a feeling of the style? Yeah, sure. You can have a look here. Regarding the price, it depends a lot on details. So how about I send you a form with all the detailed questions, you fill it in, and then I prepare an individual quote for you. Perfect. Just send it to this email address and I'll get back to you. Now obviously, that's a very simplified example, but not even that unrealistic. So let's take this example and split it into different sections for the website. The first few lines should build the page people enter when coming to your website. For example, your homepage. Here you cover briefly who you are and what you do. The next part is going more in depth about your services, where you are talking about promotional videos, documentation of the presentations, etc. Then of course you'll have a references section with some examples, and the last bit regarding the email address would be the contact page. Now that we have the different sections, we can create the framework for the pages. As mentioned before, every page should have a catchy headline and a clear call to action button. So let's start with this. On your homepage, you could put the headline, Organizing a business event in London, capture it on video. And at the end of the page, call to action, choose which service would suit you best. The person clicks on it and gets to your services page. Then reads the new headline. You focus on your event, we take care of the videos. A lot of content, and the end a call to action. Take a look at some examples of past event video productions. Person clicks on it and gets to your references site. Headline, the video of your conference could look like this. Content, and the end a call to action. Contact me for a free individual quote. Clicks on it, gets to your contact page with a simple headline, request a quote, and the end a call to action, send message. Once you have the different pages, headlines, and call to actions defined, it's time to move away from the conversation model and break the information down into a few key points. So it would simply be the headline and then the homepage, freelance video production in London West End, specialized on business events, conferences, seminars, A little bit about the experience you talked about, size of the event, done. Call to action, service page, and then you just continue like this. Take the conversation you wrote down and break it down into a few lines. After this, you already have a great outline for your website. If you'd like to take it one step further, then you can now create some wireframes for the different pages. What do I mean by that? You simply take a sheet of paper, a very thick pen, and quickly sketch how you would like to show the information on your website. Let's, for example, take the homepage. The headline we define could, for example, go on a big full-screen picture at the top. The content bit would go right underneath, maybe next to a small image of yourself. And then your experiences could simply be some boxes with big numbers. At the end, your call to action. Within no time, you went from not having a clue what to write and which information to put where, to a quite nice sketch that already looks almost like a website. But don't worry if this last wireframing bit is too complicated for you now. Your web designer will definitely already appreciate the content and structure you created and come up with wireframes and design solutions himself. By using this conversation method, you ensure that your whole website will be tailored to your client's needs. It will create an easy to follow structure, and your client will now definitely find the right information at the right time. You don't constantly talk about yourself, but you focus on your client, his questions. You deliver answers and guide him step by step to requesting a quote. And after all, that's the goal you have for your website, right? I hope this short tutorial was useful for you. And if you have any questions or feedback, please do let me know in the comments or contact me directly through my website usepmaker.com.